Andal Tiruvadigalе Sharanam. So today we will move on to the eighth verse, the Paasuram, eighth Paasuram of Andal, where Andal proceeds to wake up the next Gopika. So, to give a quick recap, she is now transformed herself into a Gopika. She wants to belong to the cowherd clan because Bhagavan is now there. So, wherever he is, we have to be there, right? So, because Bhagavan is gone into Gokula, he's become a cowherd. Andal is now become a cowherd girl. So, where he is, there we are. The entire place where she was born, Srivilliputtur, has now been mentally transformed into the Vrajabhumi, Gokula, Vrindavana, everything for her. All her friends, 5 lakh people who are residing there, are now all the Gopikas and the other relationships that she needs there. The Bhagavan in the temple, the Vatapatra Sai, is now her beloved Krishna. Her own father is now become Krishna's father, Nandagopa. So she is now waking up all those gopikas in order to join together to worship Bhagavan. So she started waking them up from the sixth song. The first 5 was about what is our objective, what are the rules, and what exactly we have to do. So, what would be the result of it? Having explained everything very, very systematically, she's going on to the structure. So, these 5 pasurams that we are seeing now and the next 5 will be about waking up all the Bhagavatas, all the Gopikas. Every Bhagavata has a different nature. So each of this has a lot of learnings for us. And in this process, we will also be doing a lot of Nama Sankirtana, understanding Bhagavan's Leela, understanding the mindset of our great Mata, the little child Andal. Because Bhumi Mata has taken the avatara of Andal, and she just rushed to give us the essence. She could not wait till she really grows up because she was in a hurry to help us. So when she was a little girl of 5, she gave us these brilliant pasurams, which we can contemplate eternally, not just for this Janma, for however long, we need. Even in Sri Vaikunta, we can keep contemplating on the great essence of the Tiruppavai that our little Goda has given us. So this Pasuram says, Kirvanam Vellendru Erumai Chiruveedu Meivan Parandanagan Mikulla Pillaigalum. Beautifully, she starts with this particular song. Here, it is about waking up the next friend of hers, next Saki of hers. Here, she wants to wake up people of different category, we said, right? So in this Pasuram, she is going to wake up a person who is a very, very well learned, knowledgeable person. This person is very special. So Andal has used the term Mikulla Pillaigalum. Whoever is remaining, all those people are coming to wake her up. She's very special. And what makes her very special? Because Bhagavan Krishna adores her. She is liked by Bhagavan himself. Therefore, she is very, very special, says Andal. So that person who is liked by Bhagavan, as I said, is our Tondaradi Podi Alvar, as per some commentaries. Therefore, this is a Bhagavata or Alvar's Uttapanam Pasuram, as per some interpretations. So let's go into the word by word meaning of this. Kodakalamudaya Pavai. So here, Kodakala can be understood as, being joyful, being happy. So Andal basically calls a person as a happy person. When would a person be happy? When they are, doing something which they really relish. That happiness will be short-lived happiness, because the moment they realize that they've received something, they go on to the next level of happiness. Also, maybe normal people will get excited with normal things. But here, Andal addressing a Gopika as a joyful girl means that She is in Krishna Anubhava. She is enjoying Bhagavan Krishna. Therefore, that Anubhava makes her, joyful. And Kodukalam Udaya basically can also mean that it is not just she who is thinking about Bhagavan, but Bhagavan Krishna adores her. Therefore, she is becoming very, very special because everybody wants her company because Bhagavan himself adores her. Therefore, Andal says, Kodakalamudaya Pavai. Oh, adorable girl, you are so joyful. You are joyful because of Krishna Anubhuti. Because of that, you become so adorable. Kodakalamudaya Pavai. Kirvanam Vellendru Irumai Chiruvedu. Now, Kirvanam basically refers to the dawn, the sky on the eastern side where sun is just rising. So when the sunrise happens, we will see orangish, reddish color, right, during sunrise. So the dawn will be red in color. Our Bhuma Devi, as we've been experiencing till now, loves to explain things based on nature. She's the Mata. She is nature herself. Therefore, she starts by explaining Kirvanam. During dawn, it is supposed to be red in color, but now it's becoming white. Vella it's becoming white. It's starting to appear white. Meivan Parandanagan Mikulla Pillaigalum. I mean, Meivan, for the sake of grazing, Parandanagan, the fields which are spread through everywhere. What is happening is all the remaining girls are starting to walk, and all the buffaloes are now starting to graze. Povan Pohindrare Pohamal Kath Unne Kovan Indrom, because everybody were going behind all these things. We had to stop some girls to come and invite you here. So we are like here now. And what are you doing? You're still sleeping. Yarandirai, please get up. Paadi Parai Kundu. Let us sing about the divine qualities of Bhagavan. We are meant for that. Our duty is that. And then what will happen to us? He will give us these beautiful gifts. And who is that he? He is Mavai Pilandanai, the one who killed the demon Kesi. Mallarai Matiya, the one who fought with the wrestlers. Devadi Devan, one who is the master of all the devas. Nam Sendra Sevital, if we go and offer our namaskaras, our pranams to them, he will be very happy. He'll inquire about us. And then Arayand Arul, he will, sympathize. So sad, these people have come to us, come to me early in the morning, and therefore he will offer his blessing to us. So please come. She wakes up her friend who is very knowledgeable in order to come and join their group. Now, with this, the overall general meaning would be waking up this lady who is very, very noble, because the dawn, the redness of the dawn is now brightening up. It's becoming more white in color. And she says, the buffaloes have set out for the graze. Now, all the gopis are deciding to do this vrata. So the 5 lakh gopikas are now going for the vrata. But Andal says, look, we've stopped them. We've asked them to wait. And some of us have rushed because we realized you have not yet joined us. So we are here to take you with us. So come, let us sing the praise of that Bhagavan who killed the demon Keshi, who defeated the wrestlers. And before he comes, we have to go so that he will take pity on us. He will be very kind. He will inquire about us and he will bestow us with all the gifts. So don't delay. Please get up and come. So this is the overall superficial meaning of this beautiful Paasuram. Now our Acharyas have dwelled on it in such a beautiful manner that this Paasuram can give us a lot of thought-provoking, scintillating, and immersive experience. I will just try and share a few of this, which comes to my thoughts then and there. I request Vasu to join me to add value wherever you think you can, or anybody else who might want to join here, because this is a very, very immersive Paasuram. It's very similar to the fifth Paasuram, where we had a wonderful Anubhuti, where it was an immersive experience. So we will get into the details of this. Now, the first beautiful concept here is Goda usually speaks about cows. But in this Pasuram, if we notice, she's not speaking about the cows, she's speaking about the buffaloes, which is very, very surprising, because usually wherever we see, when Krishna is spoken, the immediate reference is for cows. So, what makes Goda refer to buffaloes here instead of cows? So, that is one thing which we need to think about. Now, the beautiful explanation which is given by our acharyas is that the very first line of this Pasuram, Kilvanam Vellendru Erumai Siruveedu. Erumai means buffalo. Now, what is the difference between the cow and the buffalo? The buffaloes basically represent laziness. We usually use the term lazy buffalo, right? And with laziness comes the lack of determination. Because if we are determined to do something, we can't afford to be lazy. If we are lazy, then our determination most of the time goes for a toss. So, the moment Andal speaks about Erumai, it means it is something pertaining to laziness and lack of discipline, and that's the reason she's used the term buffaloes. So, usually, when cows go for grazing, what happens is they are disciplined, they are determined, and they will go in a singular direction to the destination. They will start grazing. But buffaloes, on the other hand, they will go here, there, they will not be disciplined, they are a little haphazard. They may stop wherever they want for water, little ponds, water pits, wherever, they just stop. And they are kind of easy, careless. So, this is about devotees. We are bhaktas, and we have to have discipline and determination in order to succeed as bhaktas in getting the Bhagavat Anubhava. But what happens is sometimes because of our laziness, sometimes because we do not have the sufficient amount of discipline to pursue whatever we have to follow, we are lost in the process. So, what we need a great satsanga. We need acharyas to help us guide us in the right direction. We need people who will control us in order to channelize our indriyas, our sense organs, and the mind in the right direction. Therefore, acharyas, bhagavatas are such integral part of our life's journey. So Andal here says that, the buckfellows have gone for grazing, which means they need the guides. So these girls are going there to guide. We are lost in our path, in our journey. We don't know how to offer ourselves to Bhagavan. We don't know how to control all our indriyas. We don't know how to channelize our mind. So this is our transformative journey where we are seeking moksha. We want the greatest gift from Bhagavan. Therefore, we have to have the discipline. So, waking up on time, Andal here is giving us an example to discipline ourselves, where we have to surrender to our gurus, the Samarpana Bhava to our gurus, our acharyas. We have to treat ourselves as a dasa to the Bhagavatas and to Bhagavan, seek their guidance, thereby take refuge, and we have to get rid of all the unwanted ego, pride, laziness, everything else which stops us from achieving what we want. So, in this context, Andal goes on to explain a lot of other things pertaining to this Paasuram. So, Kilvanam Vellendru Erumai Chiruveedu. Meivan Parandanagan Mikulla Pillaigalum. So, this Meivan Parandanagan is such a beautiful phrase because Andal has now transferred herself into a Gopika. So, to what extent she's transferred herself surprises the commentators here because these are typical languages which are used by Gopikas. And Andal, who is born to Vishnu Chitta in a very, very traditional Brahmin family, has exposure to conducting the homas, the yagas, or to, tie up beautiful flowers, create a Nandavana which is of sattvic quality, offer flowers, malas to Bhagavan. That is her main exposure. But here, Andal speaks about the buffaloes, going to graze, and she's beautifully used the term Siruveed. You'll be surprised to know what the Siruveed means. The typical practice of the cowherds is before the cows and buffaloes grow for grazing, they will allow them, to have a short graze, a short graze before milking them. So this short graze will help get a larger quantity of milk, it seems. Therefore, Andal says this is for a short grace. She uses the term Sirivide, saying that they were permitted for a short grace. How did Andal, express this like one cowherd girl, surprises all the interpreters. And there is one great Acharya by name Periyavachan Pillai. He's told that, if she had written about the greatest of the yajnas or about the Agnihotra or anything, we'll not be surprised. But she's written about the Sirivida and the concept of Bhagavan, being a cowherd boy and the cows going for a short graze. Because after that, when the cows grow on a longer graze, it seems Krishna will go behind them. And we will not be able to catch Krishna at that point of time. So she's rushing all the Gopikas to go there before Krishna actually comes. So that is the importance of the word Siriveed. Meivan Parandanagan Mikulla Pillaigalum. So here, Meivan Parandanagan, all those who go for, the grazing, she's speaking about the girls who all are going behind the buffaloes, which are going for a short graze. Mikkulla Pillaigalum Povan Pohindrarai Pohamal Kath. So here, just like how we saw in the previous Paasuram, it is a dialogue, a conversation between this girl who is inside sleeping now. In the previous song, we called her as the Pei Penne, right? Here, we will call her as the Kodu Kalamudaya Pavai, because that is the way Andal has called her. Kodu Kalamudaya Pavai. Now, Andal and all her other friends are outside. This girl, Kodu Kalamudaya Pavai, is inside. Now, there is this dialogue or discussion which is happening between these two people. Now, Andal says, look, everybody who's having their regular lifetime, even the samsaris, they sleep at night and they wait for their morning, but they end up doing all the mundane works. But hey, Pavai, we are Bhagavad Bhaktas. All of us are eternally devoted to Bhagavan. So we cannot afford sleeping. We have to wait. There should be one urge. When can I meet Krishna? When can I meet Krishna? It is the life urge of everybody. Think of Tyaga Brahmam. He had to say Rama, 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 Rama crores of times before he could have a darshan of Bhagavan. And he was so impatient to have Bhagavad Darshana that Bhagavan was so impatient to see Tyaga Brahmam. Even before the Koti Nama was over, Bhagavan is supposed to have appeared in front of the Tyagaraja. So that urge, that impatience, that struggle that we have to see Bhagavan is there in every single devotee, right? All of us want to have his darshan as soon as possible. That is our life's purpose itself. So devotees want to get up just because they can have a darshan of Bhagavan. Now Andal is asking the girl who's sleeping inside, when all of us have that urge, and this is one opportunity where our elders have permitted us to have his darshan. Usually we will not be allowed to, why are you going? What is your work in the forest? A lot of questions will be asked. Today, because of the vrata, elders have permitted us, and we can sing his praise in front of everyone. What a divine experience will it be? How can you even sleep? Get up, right? So there is nobody who is going to stop us. So how can you sleep? All these are Andal's talks with that divine girl who is adored by Bhagavan, who is now in Bhagavad Anubhuti, who is inside. Now from inside, this Kodakalamudaya Pavai is responding to Argoda. She says, how do you know that it's time to wake up? Is it already dawn? I don't think it is dawn. Now Andal says, look, Kirvanam Vellendru. The sky in the eastern side is now turning white. It's supposed to be red in color if it's dawn. But can't you see that it is turning white? So sun is going to rise shortly. So quickly come out. And now this Kodakalamudaya Pavai, she gives such a beautiful expression which all of us can dwell in. Now she says, all of you are now separated from Krishna and you're waiting for his darshan, his direction. And all of you are beautiful looking like the moon itself. Andal in the first Paasuram says, right? Margari Tingal, Madi Nirainda. Even the faces of these people are beautiful like the Tingal, like the beautiful moon. Now, these moon faced girls, what happens is they are facing the east. Now, look at the visual. These girls have the face as bright and as beautiful as the moon. They are looking at the eastern direction because they are looking at, the sky. Their face is reflecting on the sky, and the sky starts to reflect their face, which is so white in color. Therefore, the sky is turning white, it seems. What a beautiful analogy. So, that is why you all are thinking that the sky is white. It is not yet white. And also, some acharyas have explained saying that, all of you are always used to seeing milk, curd, buttermilk. Every product that you see is white in color. Therefore, even if you see the red sky, it looks as if it is white for you. It is not really white for you. So it is just your thinking. So it is not the truth. So that is one other interpretation. So this girl is not agreeing to what Andal says. Now Andal goes on. So do you have any other, explanation that it is dawn? Asks the girl who's inside. The Kodikala Mudaya Pavai is asking them. Now Andal says, okay, fine. I'll give you one more reason. The buffaloes have already gone for their short grace, you know. So when this girl is listening to that, it's like, if you do not wake up now, then they will go for a longer grace and Krishna will start following them. So you better rush so that you can join us before Krishna actually starts following the cows. Once he goes behind the buffaloes and cows, nobody can catch him, right? Now, this Kodikala Mudaya Pavai answers Andal saying that, now all the beautiful faces of yours reflected in the sky. And that is where the reason the sky actually appeared white, right? Now, when the sky is appearing white, whatever is seen in the ground, because of its reflection, will look dark. The shadow will make it look dark. So you've seen something like that and you are thinking that it is the buffaloes. This reason is not valid. Okay. Now, Andal is like, okay, so if you're not going to accept this reason, why don't you give me a reason as to why you think it is nighttime? So that, I will try to explain that it is not true. So Kodakalamudaya Pavai now says there are 5 lakh people in the place where we are, in the Vrajabhumi. Only a few of you have come here. So the very fact that others are not here means they are still sleeping. It means it's not yet dawn. Now Andal gives the answer to this. Only those who are remaining have come here. Mikkulla Pillaigalum. Everybody else have actually gone there. I asked them to stay. Only those who are remaining have come here. So Kodakalamudaya Pavai is now like, how did they go leaving me here? Did they ignore me? Now Andal says, no, no, no. It was a huge crowd. We did not even realize that you were not there, and then they left. Now Kodakalamudaya Pavai is asking, so for what are they going? Now comes the beautiful response of Andal. Povan pohindrare. This is something that we can really, really dwell on. Povan pohindrare. Now, what are they going is Kodakalamudaya Pavai's question. They are going for the sake of going, right? This is a very, very meditative step for us in this beautiful Paasuram. Of course, we've already seen the concept of buffaloes where we have to really work on surrendering ourselves to the Bhagavatas, Acharyas, and to Bhagavan in order to discipline our indriyas, our mind, so that we can achieve the ultimate moksha which Bhagavan will grant us. Here, Povan Pohindrarai basically means that our Jivatma is now going to go to the ultimate abode of Bhagavan through a path which is called as the Archiradigati, the path where everyone who surrenders to God will take its journey, the path which leads to the ultimate abode of Sri Vaikunta, the divine abode of Bhagavan, is gone. The path is called as the Archiradi Marga. Now, when this journey happens, what will be the mindset of the Atma? What will the Jivatma be doing? He's now already left. He's going to reach Bhagavan. In this time, his path, what will the experience be? Is something which is rejoiced by the acharyas. The alvas dwell on it. Oh my God, can there be a feeling like that? To compare that with a materialistic, simple example that we can have. A girl has been waiting to get married to a particular groom. The marriage is supposed to happen. Prior to that, the engagement ceremony happens. Between her engagement and her marriage, this is the person she wants to get married to. Her engagement is over, but she's not yet married. So the time between the engagement and marriage, if we realize, is like one of the best times in the life of that girl, right? So now this Jivatma is left to reach the ultimate abode of Bhagavan. And the journey between this and reaching Bhagavan is supposed to be bliss. So to understand that, our Acharyas explain it with an example from Srimad Bhagavata Purana, which is called as the Akrura Bhava. Akrura was a relative of Bhagavan who was working for Kamsa. Kamsa was trying many different ways to kill Krishna when he was a little child. We know many of those stories. I will dwell on one or two of this, in the due time. Now, Akrura was sent in order to bring Krishna to Mathura so that Kamsa can ensure that Krishna is killed. Now, Akrura knows that the intention of Kamsa is bad, it's negative. But then Kamsa is sending him in order to have a darshan of Bhagavan. This is something which he can't refuse, because such a cruel person sending Akrura to do such a great job is something, which Akrura is relishing. But the intention is to kill Bhagavan. I mean, how can I go for this? But then Akrura decides that I have been longing for this darshan of Bhagavan, so I will go ahead. I will go for this journey because Bhavagrahi Janardana, Bhagavan knows my intentions. Bhagavan knows that I am coming there for his darshan. Therefore, I will take my journey to Gokula. Now, the Bhagavata Purana, in the 10th chapter, in the 10th skanda, 38th chapter, elaborates the trip of Akrura all the way from the Kamsa's palace, reaching Gokula. And when we read this particular chapter of Bhagavatam, we can't but, stop dwelling on that Anubhava. Automatically, any devotee's eyes will be filled with tears seeing the Akrura Bhava. This kind of immersive devotion of Akrura is something which every bhakta should aspire for. Now, Sukabrahma Rishi explains this concept to Parikshit in the Dashamaskanda, where he said, this great Akrura is now leaving to Gokula. And when he is leaving, I'm just going to dwell on few of his thoughts so that we can understand what we mean by the Akrura Bhava. So he is contemplating on the beautiful lotus eyes of Bhagavan. What will be Bhagavan's eyes? Bhagavan's eyes, whenever we think of the beautiful Netra, today Vasudevana was mentioning about the red eyes as mentioned by Tondaradi Pudiyalvar, right? So Bhagavan's eyes are red. Why is it red? Because whenever we see a person who we really like, to who, our hearts are filled with love, our eyes will redden, it seems. So when Bhagavan sees his devotees, his eyes become so red. And Swami Vedanta Deshika explains Tirupati Bhagavan's eyes, which is filled with so much of daya, as Swagata Udhara Netram. The eyes which invites us, Swagatam. Just by seeing his eyes, we will feel like Bhagavan is calling us, hey, come, come, come. I've been waiting for you for such a long time. Why are you delaying coming and seeing me? Please come. He will invite us with so much of love, affection, that a mother who's been waiting for years together to see a child who's abroad just waits looking at the doorsteps. When will my little child come? Bhagavan has been waiting not just for years. He's waiting for janmas of us. He's been waiting for yugas after yugas. He's just been waiting. When is my little child going to come? And on seeing us approach him, his eyes are reddened so much. His eyes are welcoming us more than what we can ever think about. And Udhara means he's so broad minded that, he wants to give everything to us. Whatever we ask, whatever we don't ask, whatever we seek, whatever is in our mind, whatever is not there in our mind, he basically wants to give himself to us. What more can we think? Everything is within him, but he wants to give himself to us. That is the kind of his Udhara Bhava. So Swami Deshika, in these two beautiful words, Swagata Udhara Netram, his eyes itself communicates his Swagatatvam, his Udharatvam. So his eyes are Swagata Udhara Netra, which is like the Kamala, which is like the lotus. Now, this lotus red-eyed Bhagavan is completely filling the thought of our Akrura. When Akrura is leaving to Gokula, he's now thinking about Bhagavan's eyes. He's thinking that I'm going to get this darshan of the great Bhagavan, which is definitely not possible for a person, because I'm serving Kamsa here. Kamsa is trying to kill him. And how can I think of having a darshan of Bhagavan where my boss is attempting to kill? It's impossible. But then Akrura says, by the grace of Bhagavan, even the impossible is possible. When we think of something as possible and impossible, it is only with our limited capacity. But when Bhagavan thinks, everything becomes possible. Whatever is impossible becomes possible. So he starts visualizing what is going to happen the moment he goes there. So he is so filled with happiness that when I see Bhagavan, all my papas, because of serving, a wrong person all through my life, all that will be erased. My birth will be fulfilled because all of us are born with a particular reason, a particular purpose. And Janma Sapalyam, we say, right? Sapalatvam. The purpose of being born needs to get fulfilled. So Akrura says, the moment I see Bhagavan there, my life's purpose is going to be fulfilled. And when I see him, I will actually fall flat in Bhagavan's feet. And this feet is where the yogis meditate upon. This feat is where the great divinities like the Chaturmukha Brahma, Maheshwara, the Devas, the sages, the rishis, all the bhaktas, everybody fall at. This feat has the beautiful markings of all the divine things which Bhagavan has on his feet. And that beautiful feet of Bhagavan is now walking in the forest of Vrindavana. Think of the greatness of Vrindavana. The soil, the mud in Vrindavana, is something where we all can roll on, sparkle on our head, sparkle on our body. The great feet of Bhagavan is walked in this Vrindavana. And Akrura says that, today I can see the beautiful face of Bhagavan who has this Kaka Bakshatara. Sage Vishwamitra fell in love with Bhagavan's front locks of hair, the beautiful curly locks which fall in the front of Bhagavan, which is a Lakshana of Bhagavan. When the Gopikas, who are women by nature, fall in love with Krishna, we can understand. But great sages fall in love with the qualities of Bhagavan. But it is surprising that Vishwamitra Maharishi fell in love with the appearance of Rama, which is mentioned in Valmiki Ramayana, where he speaks about Kaga Bakshadharam Ramam, the Bhagavan who has beautiful curls. He is so beautiful. Give that Rama to me, says Vishwamitra. So Bhagavan's beauty is such that whether we are a Grihastha, whether we are a sannyasi, whether we are other devas or even Brahma, all of us get so attracted to his appearance, to his gunas, to his kripa, to everything, his eyes, everything, every single thing in Bhagavan attracts us. That's why Bhagavan Krishna is called as Krishna. Akarshati iti Krishna. He attracts all of us in multi-dimensional ways that he's unstoppable. So here Akrura says, I will prostrate at his feet. I will, look at his beautiful front locks of hair. I will have a darshan of Bhagavan's cheeks, of his nose, of his smiles, of his eyes, which are lotus. I will do a pradakshina of him, and all the good fortunes will come the moment I see him and do a pradakshina. He is Bhagavan Vishnu in human form. All our burdens will go off on his very sight, says Akrura. And he goes on to explain that all the ignorance, all the darkness, all the ajnana will get erased the moment we contemplate on Bhagavan. He speaks about the kind of devotion, the kind of enlightenment, the kind of purity which Bhagavan can bestow on us. He says Bhagavan gives the eternal joy to the universe. He is the refuge of everyone, including all the holy men, all the teachers, everybody, are surrendering at the feet of Bhagavan. And here I have this opportunity to fall directly at his feet. Everybody does it in their yoga state. But here it's going to be a live experience for me. What more can I think of? So much of dwelling happens in the mind of Akrura. He says he will just jump down the chariot, prostrate flat on the feet of Bhagavan. And, he is enjoying this entire journey. He visualizes this journey, thinks about it, contemplates on it. And his entire journey all the way to Gokula is filled with this kind of a feeling. And now he actually lands there. And at a distance, He's able to see the two beautiful adolescent children, Balarama, who's called as Rama in Srimad Bhagavata, and Krishna. Seeing them, he's so excited. Oh my God, Bhagavan is there and I'm in this bhumi. So he jumps out of his chariot. He goes flat in his from his chariot to the floor. He rolls on this floor, falls flat on the feet of Bhagavan, and prostrates, thinking that Bhagavan is going to pour his entire karuna on him. And then Bhagavan understands all the thought process which has gone into Akrura. He realizes that Akrura wants himself to be lifted and he wants to be hugged by Bhagavan. Now, Bhagavan always fulfills whatever the devotees want. So, Bhagavan Krishna lifts Akrura and hugs him, gives him a Swagata Udara Alinganam itself. What can we think of Akrura's mindset, Akrura's feeling, Akrura's accomplishment? Janma Sapalata, Janma Sapalyam happened for Akrura. And Balarama also gave a big hug to Akrura, a Alinganam of both Bhagavan and Adishesha Swarupa. The greatest Bhagavata happened for Akrura because of this beautiful journey where he was completely immersed and contemplating on Bhagavan. And after this, Balarama guides Akrura to their residence. There, Bhagavan and Balarama perform Paja Puja to Akrura because it is Atiti Satkarya. So they wash the feet of Akrura. They offer all the requirements for hospitality that are to be offered to a guest. So they, do a lot of pressing of Akrura's hands and feet because he's had a long journey. Think of Bhagavan pressing the feet of his devotee. What kind of a situation is this? What can Akrura do for all these things? He fell flat at the feet of Bhagavan, but Bhagavan is now pressing the feet of a Bhagavata. So much for Bhagavan's Karuna. And a lot more happens in Akrura's story, which I will reserve for sometime in the future. So here, this bhava is what is explained by Andal when she says, Povan Pohindrarai. Why are these gopikas going? Because they are now contemplating on Bhagavan all the time. They are going there, immersing in the Akrura Bhava, dwelling on every single thing. Oh my God, I'm going to get up. Bhagavan will be there. Krishna will be there. And what will we do with Krishna? What will Krishna say? How will he see us? How will he look? What is going to be our Bhava? Every single person is contemplating completely on Bhagavad Anubhava, completing immersing themselves, not just immersing oneself, speaking to each other in that way. We spoke about parasparam bhavayantaha because when we think and contemplate, it is one kind of anubhava. When we speak to another Bhagavata having that anubhava, we usually say 1 plus 1 is 2. But when it comes to Bhakti Bhava, 1 plus 1 is never 2 because there is a synergistic effect. It always multiplies. Bhakti always multiplies. So when there are a few devotees who discuss, our Bhakti Bhava improves enormously. So Andal says, all of us coming together, what kind of a Anubhava will it be? It will be Akrura Bhava multiplied, multiple times. So it is like the synergy. So Povan Pohindrarai. So therefore, what I have done is, hey, Kodakalabudeya Pavai, Kodakalabudeya Pavai says, so, but did they leave? If all of them have gone, why should I wake up now? Because I've already missed it. Andal says, Pogamal Kat, how will we allow them to go? Because every single person's Anubhava will add to the synergistic effect. And you are a Kodakalamudayapava. You are one who's adored by Krishna. So everybody is waiting. I have stopped them. Ohamal Kat. They all are waiting. Waiting for what? Waiting for the Bhagavata Anubhava. They are waiting for you to join so that all Bhagavatas can go together. So this beautifully explains the importance of going through a Acharya. Now, Andal has asked everybody to wait for this particular Bhagavata. So our Acharyas, through all their karuna, ensure that we are not left behind. They will ensure that corrective actions are taken. We are aligned to our main course. We are disciplined, even if we are like the erima, even if we are like the buffaloes, which are not having the right discipline, which go hither thither. Whenever there is a distraction, there is water, they go. But then they will channelize our indriyas, our manas, and Pohamal Kata. They will ensure that we join part of the Bhagavata Koshti so that we reach the Bhagavan in the right way, in the appropriate way. Therefore, Andal here becomes the Acharyas. So just like how when Vibhishana surrendered to Bhagavan Rama, he could not go directly in order to meet Rama. He had to first meet all the Vanaras there. The Vanaras had to go and tell Bhagavan, after which Bhagavan had to discuss with everybody, and irrespective of their decisions, he was a Sharanagata Vatsala, therefore he accepted Vibhishana. But Vibhishana's surrender was also along with a few others who also were accepted by Rama because Vibhishana was accepted. So when the Acharya recommends us, in spite of all our mistakes, we are accepted. It's a big lesson which Andal shares with us here. So, Unnai Kuvuvan Vandan Rome. So here we stopped all of them and we are here to call you. So all of us want you to join us. So we are here to call you. Our aim is to ensure that you join the Vratam. And then the Kodikalamudaya Pavai says, but why should you take so much of efforts for my sake? So what if I'm left behind? Why are you worried about me left behind? So here, Kodukalam, as we discussed earlier, means joyful. So joyful, happy, adored, right? So Pavai usually refers to a lady. Pavai means a lady. So Andal says, because you are a Pavai, we understand your feelings. You are waiting to reach Bhagavan as much as we are waiting. And in our Sampradaya, every Jivatma is considered a Pavai. It is not a physical femininity which is addressed here. Pavai means everybody other than Bhagavan. All of us have this yearning to reach Bhagavan. So all of us are Pavais. All of us dwell in Bhagavad Anubhava and we want to keep increasing our Anubhava. Therefore, all of us are Pavai and Andal understands the feelings of a Pavai. So she says, Kodikalamu Udaya Pavai, you are adored by Bhagavan, you are joyful, and you are a Pavai. So I understand you. I understand your yearning for Krishna, and I want to ensure that I help you reach him. So this is again a great message of Andal to each one of us. Therefore, Andal says, எழுந்திராய், Pavai, எழுந்திராய். So please get up. So if you want to join us, join. Even otherwise, let not all our efforts go a waste. We at least want to see your face because you are filled with Bhagavad Anubhava. Having your darshan itself is great for us. So we all are waiting in your doorsteps. At least give us your darshan. Here, the Bhagavata Kataksha is also very important. Having the darshan of Bhagavan is important. Having the darshan of the devotees of Bhagavan is as important. So when we have the darshan of devotees, we feel so much of happiness in our mind. When we interact with them, we feel so much of fulfillment in our mind. When we speak about Bhagavad Gunas, we have an increase in the Anubhava of Bhagavad Guna. When we have the darshan of Bhagavan, along with the devotees or the Bhagavatas, it is at a very, very different level. So Andal explains the significance of all of these by saying, Kodukalamuடைய Pavai Ezhundirai. Now, this Kodukalamuடைய Pavai says, what will I get if I get up? What is the benefit? What's in it for me? Now, Andal says, Padi Parai Kondu. Padi Parai Kondu. She's been insisting on Nama Sankirtana from the very first Paasuram. We've been seeing that Narayanane Namakke Parai Taruvan. Parkadalul Payyattuginra Paraman. Ongi Ulagalanda Uttaman. Arimazhai Kanna. Damodhara. Everywhere she's been, using Nama Sankirtana as a means. So here again she says, Padi, let us sing the praise of Bhagavan, Parai Kondu. Bhagavan will give the benefit to us. He will give us gifts. And what is this gift for? If he gives us a normal, physical gift, we can convince our elders that, look, we all did our vrata for which we got this as a gift from Krishna. If we do not get any physical gifts, we can be happier because that Padi itself is a parai. There are many situations where the means and the end are different. We want to score in an examination. Therefore, we prepare for the examination. Preparation or studying is the means. Clearing the exam is the end result. The result of the exam is the end result. If we go for a job interview, preparing for the interview is the means. Clearing the interview and procuring the job is the end. Suppose we are singing about Bhagavan. What is the means? Singing his namas. That is how we learn to sing. What is the end? Singing about Bhagavan. If Krishna is going to accompany them for the vrata, what is the means? The means is joining Krishna in order to perform the vrata. What is the end? Joining Krishna. So the means and the end are the same. So Andal here says, Padi Parai Kondu. So experiencing Krishna is the means and the end. What else can be the parai? That itself is the end. Because what is the ultimate mokshananda? It is Krishna Anubhuti. What are we going to get now? Krishna Anubhuti. So what else can be a gift that we can look for? Pada, pada, pada. Sing his praise, sing his praise. That is the ultimate parai. So Kodukalamuடைய Pava is now asking, so who will give us this parai? Now Andal goes to explain the three great situations which are beautiful learnings for us. Now Andal starts to explain that person is going to give this parai. Which person is that? The Devadideva Bhagavan is going to give that parai. Now, who is this Devadideva Bhagavan? Devadideva is the Bhagavan of all the Devas. Now, Bhagavan in his ultimate form is being worshipped by everybody. That Bhagavan, who is considered as a Deva, was mentioned even by Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita as Deva in the 11th chapter. So Deva means Div Kridayam, the one who creates this entire universal play as a sport. It's a game for him. So he is the Lord of all the Devas. But then this girl, the Pavai, that is not a big thing for her. Okay, what if Deva gives something? How does it matter for me? Therefore, Andal connects it in a way that we can relish. So what is that way of connecting? She says, Mavai Pilandane Mallarai Mattiya. Now, who is this Mavai Pilandane? Here, he might be the master of all the Devas, but they all serve Bhagavan in the Paravyuha, that form, which we all learned. Paravyuha Vibhava Antaryami Archa. So that is in a different form. What is important to us is the Vibhava Avatara, because Krishna is there with us at this point of time. So, in this Avatara, he has done certain Leelas for us to enjoy him completely. So, the Avatara which Andal quotes here is the Keshi Nishudana Avatara. Why does she quote the Keshi Avatara? Because in the previous Paasuram, all of us saw that Andal was mentioning about Keshavanai Padavum ni kete kidattiyo Desamudayai Tiravelor Embavai. So, Nayaga Pen Pillai Narayanan Murthy Keshavan. So, that Narayanan Murthy is actually Kesavan. So, when I'm singing about this particular Keshavan, how can you sleep? He is so beautiful. His keshas are so beautiful. We touched on one or two meanings of the word Keshava. Now, Andal connects this particular Paasuram to the previous Paasuram, and then even to Kodakalamudaya Pavai, maybe Andal was meditating on that beautiful form of Keshava. So she brings in that particular Leela here for us to enjoy the meaning, dwell on the meaning of Keshava, and also on the avatara of Bhagavan as Keshava, this beautiful Leela. So I will explain the meanings or some of the meanings of the word Keshava, and then we will also go and enjoy the avatara Leela of Bhagavan as Keshava, why he is called as Keshava. Now, one of the important meanings of Keshava is that Bhagavan will help us from all the hindrances. So, anything which stops us from accomplishing what we want to accomplish, all those hindrances will be removed by Bhagavan. Therefore, he is called as Keshava. What do we understand from this is Keshavaha Klesha Nashanaha. Klesha means any hindrance. So Klesha Nashana means any hindrance on the way will be removed by Keshava. Now all these gopikas are going for this great vrata. Now there is a hindrance here where she calls them as buffaloes because we succumb to laziness, to indiscipline. So, this indiscipline or laziness and the distraction of all our indriyas can become our hindrances from completing the vrata, which is going to take us closer to Bhagavan. It is also going to give us Bhagavat Sakshatkaratvam. We can have a darshan of Bhagavan. Something which is stopping that is something that, we just can't handle. So, who is going to help us in getting rid of anything which stops us? He is Keshava. Therefore, Keshavaha Klesha Nashanaha. He will stop all the hindrances from affecting us. Earlier I said he is the means and he is the end. Now he is also the person who is going to help us in the beginning and in hindrances. So think about it. He does everything for us. Starting from the beginning to helping us with the hindrances to being a means to being an end. So what are we supposed to do? Just surrender to him. Such a beautiful word, Keshava. Now, there are several other different meanings given to the word Keshava. One of the explanations says Ka, A, Isha. The word Keshava is formed by splitting the word as Ka, A, and Isha. Ka iti Brahmano nama. Ka means Brahma. A means Vishnu. Akara Vishnu Vachaka. Isha means Shiva. So all these three, Isha, Vishnu, and Shiva, are the forms of Keshava. Keshava himself becomes these three things, and he is the head of all the three also, is one of the other meanings of Keshava. We've also seen the beautiful meaning of Keshava when we learned the seventh Paasuram, which is the one who has a beautiful loft of hair, So, Nirukta is one of the Samskrita granthas which give explanations for words. In Nirukta, it is mentioned Prashasta Neela Keshatvat Keshavaha, which means Bhagavan has this beautiful blue loft of hair, therefore he is called as Keshava. His hair is so beautiful that our eyes can't go beyond it. I told you, right? Vishwamitra himself was like, Swaputram Rajasadulam Ramam Satya Parakramam Kakapakshataram Shuram Jeshtam me dhatu barhasi. So Jeshtam me dhatu marhasi. Give your elder son who's got this Kagapakshatara, is what Vishwamitra asks Dashratha. So Arjuna has addressed Krishna in so many different places in Bhagavad Gita as Keshava. And in one place, the explanation is Ka Va Isha. We saw Ka A Isha. It can also be Ka Va Isha, where Ka again will mean Brahma, Isha would mean Shiva, but Va would mean from whose Sharira, from whose form Brahma and Shiva actually appeared. So he is the foundation of the Shrishti, Samhara, everything. And now I'll come to the penultimate meaning of Keshava. Kam means happiness. Isha means the Lord. Usually we say Isha is the Lord. We know the meaning of Isha. So who's the Isha of Kam? Who's the Lord of all the happiness? He is called as Keshava. So the Bhagavan, who is in charge of the happiness in this material world, as well as the ultimate bliss, is called as Keshava. So, this is a very, very interesting meaning for us with respect to this particular sloka. In fact, in Harivamsa, Bhagavan Shiva has told the explanation of Keshava as Ka iti brahmano nama ishoham sarvadehinam avam tavange sambhuti tasmat Keshava namavan. Because both Brahma and myself have come out of his Sharira, Bhagavan is called as Keshava. This is Shiva's own words. Um, so, why is all these meanings important to us? Because what are we looking at in this particular Paasuram is that this girl is so joyous. She's Kodakalamudaya Pavai. Why is she happy? Why is she filled with joy? Because she is experiencing the bliss of Bhagavan. Now, what does Andal say? Let us sing the praise of Keshava. And what does Keshava do? He gives happiness. Now, this girl is already in happiness. But Andal says, Bhagavan will give such a great level of bliss because he is Kam Isha, Keshava, the giver of this world's physical happiness and the eternal world's happiness. Therefore, you can have the darshan of that Keshava with that beautiful loft of hair, which is beyond comprehension. So we can have that live here. What kind of happiness will that be, oh joyous woman? Look at how beautiful each word of the Paasuram just gets connected to each other. In fact, Adi Shankara himself in his Sahasranama Bhashya explains about Keshava as Keshi Nishudhana. Now, this Keshi Nishudhana avatara is explained by Andal in this particular Paasuram. Think of the similarity of thoughts across scriptures, which is again a very, very exciting thing. Here, Andal says, Mavai Pilandane. What do we understand by Mavai Pilandane? This explains the Keshi Nishudhana avatara of Bhagavan. Now, Bhagavan is a little Krishna. He is in Gokula. Kamsa constantly keeps sending people after people, demons after demons, starting from Putana, Shakatasura. We have seen all these leelas of Bhagavan. Now, finally, Kamsa is so annoyed that Krishna is still surviving. None of the demons could kill him. So he's thinking, who can be the worst possible demon? Who can really finish his job and come back? When Kamsa was thinking about it, his mind got reminded of, one of the demons who's a terror to everybody, who's called Keshi. Now, Keshi could take any form of his choice and he could terrorize everybody. So he took the form of a huge horse. And this horse, with 1 feet could actually create a earthquake. He could break the earth itself. He could create, breaks in the floor of the earth. His head, as a horse, the hair of the top part of the horse, the manes, could touch the skies. That was the height, that was how huge he was. So when he started galloping, the whole earth started shaking and he could suck fires from his mouth. That was the kind of, huge form that this Keshi had taken. And Kamsa had sent him to kill his little nephew Krishna, the baby Krishna, 5-year-old little Krishna, right? Now, this Keshi is coming there in such a fierce form. And while he was coming, a lot of people fell down. Some of the cows, calves, everybody died because of the aggressive nature of Keshi. Our little Krishna cannot tolerate if his cows or calves or any of his devotees are affected. Now, Krishna got really furious because this is a huge Bhagavata apachara which Keshi had done. If Keshi had approached Krishna directly, Krishna would still be okay with it. But he went against the devotees of Krishna, which Krishna can never tolerate. Now, what happened is that this huge Keshi shakes his body, his manes touch the sky, his feet are, breaking the floor. Now, this little Krishna is looking at Keshi. Keshi now hits Krishna and opens his mouth to swallow him. The mouth of Keshi is spitting out fire. He's so hot. Now, little Krishna pushed his little tender, flowery, lotus like hand inside the mouth of Keshi. We saw in the third Paasuram, Ongi Ulagalanda Uttaman Perpadi, right? Bhagavan's feet measured the skies and all the regions below. Similarly, Bhagavan's hand, which went into his Keshi's mouth, is now red hot like iron. It started growing. It started growing so fast, so hot, that it started burning Keshi. It started suffocating Keshi. And because Keshi had his mouth open, Bhagavan tore open the Asura, and threw him off. So that is why Andal is mentioning Mavai Pilandane. He actually tore this Keshi Asura. And as if nothing happened, Bhagavan resumed his regular thing. And Narada praises Bhagavan. Oh, Bhagavan, he was such a terror to so many people and he was abusing the powers that he had. And you are a savior. In fact, Narada goes on to explain the Purva Shapa of Keshi and how he became a Gandharva. That is all part of Harivamsha. Let's not go into that at this point of time. But Bhagavan actually blessed even Keshi. It is important for us to know that part. So here, Andal says, Mavai Vilandane. What can we understand? Why is this particular avatara important here? Why is Andal telling that? One reason is because of the happiness factor, where Bhagavan will bless the happiest things because he is Kam Isha. He is the god of happiness. And now he is the killer of Keshi demon. Why is that part important? Why is Andal mentioning it here? Because many meanings will be combined in every single word mentioned by our little Andal, right? Now here, usually when an example of a horse is given, we speak about the pride of the horse. The pride, the ego, that I can ensure that everything is done. That kind of a feel is the reference factor here. So whenever there is ahankara, Bhagavan will ensure that he will help us get rid of the ahankara. Ahankaram bhagnam karoti Bhagavan. So he will ensure that, our feet is on the ground. We are not really carried away by this ahankara. So in this example, the Keshi Asura's ahankara was actually torn by Bhagavan. and he was brought into a steady state. If we have think about it in the third Paasuram, Bhagavan measured or made himself big. Why? Bali Chakravarti wanted to give dana. At that point, Bali Chakravarti's Acharya, who is Shukracharya, warned Mahabali, saying that, look, Bhagavan himself has come. Do not give this dana to Bhagavan because there is something wrong. Why would Bhagavan come and ask 3 feet of land in his feet from you? He has everything. Why would he ask and do a bhiksha to you? Bali Chakravarti said, if Bhagavan is asking, I will of course have to give. If I do not give the danam, then what is Bali Chakravarti? Right? So he went against his Acharya's Agnya. His pride of being a Dana Prabhu overtook his obedience to his Acharya. Therefore, Bhagavan ensured that Bali Chakravarti's pride was broken. Therefore, he placed his feet on top of Bali Chakravarti's head. But then, because Bhagavan had promised Prahlada to protect Bali Chakravarti, he still made him the king of Patala Loka, thereby ensuring his protection. Therefore, wherever there is ego, Bhagavan grows to say that he is bigger than the biggest, and therefore our ego will actually be broken by him. So, Guru Upatesha, the importance of that was known. In the Dhamodara Leela, the converse of this was seen. Bhagavan grew, but then because of bhakti of Yashoda Mata, Bhagavan reduced himself to smaller than the rope and allowed himself to be tied and punished by his Mata Yashoda. So where there is no ego, where there is bhakti, he becomes a punishable entity by the devotee, right? So that is the beauty of Bhagavan. And this is such a great bhava. And now Andal in this beautiful Paasuram brings about this concept of Bhagavan ruling over all these great Keshi Nishudana kind of people. Why? Because the egos have to be slashed. And now this girl thinks that she can have a Anubhava of Bhagavan by herself. But Andal says that your Anubhava of yourself is selfish. It is like, the bullocks going around everywhere. And then we have to discipline ourselves, come and join together in order to have the Bhagavad Anubhuti, where there is no place for ego, there is no place for just you enjoying by yourself. Together, let all of us relish this Anubhava of Bhagavan. Therefore, she reminds her of this beautiful Keshi Nishudana Bhagavan, who is so beautiful as Keshava, who is going to enhance our happiness as Keshava. So, this Mavai Pilandanai is mentioned. How many beautiful meanings, and how all these meanings dwell to the relevance of this Pasura is a bliss for us to enjoy. Next she says, Mallarai Mattiya Devadi Devan. So here again, Mallarai Mattiya, the restless, Mushtika and Chanura. Now, even after all these attempts were failed, Kamsa still did not give up. He wanted to ensure that little Krishna is killed. Now, this entire Keshi episode was also mentioned in the Bhagavad Purana in the Dashamaskanta in the 37th chapter. Now, after Akrura went there and brought Krishna and Balarama to Mathura, which happened in chapter 38, a lot of Krishna Leelas are mentioned. And in chapter 44, we come to this restless. Now, the Mushtika and Chanura was an unfair match, according to all the women in Kamsa's, palace. Many had come there to watch, and these wrestlers were so strong, so powerful. They were huge, mighty. They looked like, iron stones, and, they had such a huge build of the body. Our little, Krishna and Balarama are small little children, right? So they look very, very small compared to these huge, well-built wrestlers. So the women who come there were melting in their hearts. What kind of an unfair wrestling is this? We are not even supposed to watch this kind of thing, which is not fair. So the wrestlers started hitting our little Krishna and Balarama for the match. But of course, Bhagavan won over, Mushtika and Chanur. Balarama and Krishna, uh, they might appear small because of their Leela, but we of course know that, they won over them. Now, why did Andal bring about the concept of Mallarai Matiya here? Our acharyas have very, very beautifully explained that whenever there are two wrestlers or anything in dvandva which is seen, anything in pairs that is mentioned, it has an inner meaning. And here the inner meaning represents the kama krodha, the other two things which stop us. Now, kama means desire, krodha means anger. The kama krodha are the other two hindrances which can stop us from reaching our objective of Bhagavad Anubhava. Now, we have desires. Andal in the second sloka of rules itself said, Mayyitteludom, Malarittu na mudiyom. We will not waste time by just decorating us, and we will not waste time by preparing or eating delicacies. Neyyunnom, palunnom, Narkale Niradi. Early morning, we will get up and go for our Niratam. Now, this girl is sleeping. Now, why is this happening? Because hindrances are there. So she says that Bhagavan killed all the kama. He killed all the krodha. Therefore, she says this Mallarai Matiya is a representative of the anger which can stop us, which can blind us from reaching our goals. It is about our greed. Anything in excess is greed. Even excess of sleeping is greed. Therefore, do not waste time when that Bhagavan, the ultimate Prabhu, is there. We should rush there, be there before we, miss the opportunity out. This is a once in lifetime opportunity. Rush, come. So she wants to push this girl to come. And here it is a message for us. Never succumb to kama krodha. Never succumb to desires. There can be so much of distractions on your path. These can distract you from your ultimate goal of reaching Bhagavan. Don't succumb to anger. Don't allow your Atma Gunas to get deteriorated just because of some subtle anger which can interrupt your process. Give up the anger. Surrender to the Bhagavata, surrender to the Acharya, surrender to Bhagavan. Only then we can accomplish what we want to accomplish. So Bhagavan removes the Kama Krodha from us if we trust him, if we sing his praise, if we surrender to him, says Andal. So we don't have a place for all the kama and krodha here. In fact, Krishna in Bhagavad Gita himself says, Kama esha krodha esha rajoguna samudbhavaha. Andal gives the same message of Krishna to us. We told, right? This is actually Goda's Gita, Goda Gita. So whatever Bhagavan has given us, Andal has given it to us in a very, very simplified form as well. So she has bought this beautiful two things, which are also obstacles for us in achieving Bhagavan. So in this Paasuram, if we notice how many things, starting from self-disciplining, controlling our indriyas, controlling our mind, leading to bigger happiness by satsanga, by mingling with all our Bhagavatas, getting rid of kama and krodha, getting rid of ego, surrendering to the acharyas, Bhagavatas, and Bhagavan. Everything is brought about by Andal as the inner meanings of this. Now, the final thing is Sendranam Sevittal. Andal says, Avavendru Araindu Arulelor Embavai. Now, the girl inside is asking Andal, okay, now Kodakalamudaya Pava is like, okay, I understand all what you're saying, but why can't Krishna come to me? That is his habit, right? Wherever devotees are there, Krishna goes to their house. Now, why are you expecting me to go and ask him? So, Krishna can come here. So, when we go to Bhagavan, we show that we are missing you, who Bhagavan. We are separated from you and we are not able to handle this at all. Therefore, We are rushing to see you. But when Bhagavan comes to us, it is like, okay, we were just waiting for him, right? So when we go, Sendra Sevital, when we go longing for him, then Bhagavan takes pity on us. He's like, oh God, you have come all the way. Therefore, he blesses us. Therefore, Bhagavan inquires about us. Araind, aha, you have come for my sake. So Bhagavan is very, very happy seeing that we have taken our efforts in order to come and have a darshan of Bhagavan. Therefore, he says, aha, Indra, Arain, he inquires, are you doing good? How are you? What exactly do you want? Why are you here? You've taken all these efforts to come early morning to have my darshan. What can I do for you? Arule Lord. And he gives us all what we want, beyond what we want, beyond what we can comprehend, beyond what we know to ask. Many times we don't even know what we need. We don't even know what to ask. So Ara in the he analyzes, he bestows upon us all what is required by the Atma, by the Jivatma, including the Moksha Prapti. Ahavendru Araynd Arulelo Rembavai, says Andal. So here we approaching Bhagavan early morning is considered such a important thing that we have to always be subservient to Bhagavan. Therefore, this Bhagavata Anubhavam is brought out beautifully in this Paasuram. Jai Shri Krishna.
கீழ்வானம் வெள்ளென்று கீழ்வானம் வெள்ளென்று எருமை சிறு வீடு கீழ்வானம் வெள்ளென்று எருமை சிறு வீடு மேய்வால் பரதன காண் மிக்குள்ள பிள்ளைகளோம் மேய்வான் பரதன காண் மிக்குள்ள பிள்ளைகளோம் போவான் போகின்றாரே போவான் போகின்றாரே போகாமல் காத்து போவான் போகின்றாரே போகாமல் காத்து உன்னை கூவாமல்து நின்றோம் உன்னை கூவாய் வந்து நின்றோம் கோது களமுடைய உன்னை கூவால் வந்து நின்றோம் கோது களமுடைய பாவாய் எழுதீராய் பாடி பறை கொண்டு பாவாய் எழுதீராய் பாடி பறை கொண்டு மாவாய் பிளந்தனை மல்லரை மாட்டிய தேவாதி தேவனை சென்று நாம் சேவித்தால் தேவாதி தேவனை சென்று நாம் சேவித்தால் ஆவாவில்றாராய்ந்து 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 அருளேலோர் பாவாய் ஆவாவில்றாராய்ந்து அருளேலோர் பாவாய் கோது களமுடைய பாவாய் எழுதிராய் எழுதிராய் ஆண்டாள் திருவடிகளே சரணம்.
ஆண்டாள் திருவடிகளே சரணம்.